after you force it, what's going through your mind right now?
Just excited to get the opportunity. Now it's a one-game series, and it's for all the marbles, and I think it's kind of where better to have a Game 7 than the Garden, So I'm really excited about it. Our group's excited to get the opportunity to compete. We haven't won a game there yet. No teams won a game on the road in this series, so we got to be ready to go from start to
Jalen, you guys played for that number 2 seed all to the end. Now you get this home game at the Garden for Game 7. Just kind of thoughts on fighting for that and what the reward is here.
Yeah, it's definitely something we fought for, and to have home court advantage for as long as we can throughout the playoffs. And I'm just happy that our team has the mindset that we do. And so, but it's not given just because it's at home. We get to go out there and play and earn it. They're going to be ready, and we're going to be ready as well.
Tyrese, Rick mentioned the film session, and then you say challenged you guys' effort. Where did this edge come from that you guys showed up with tonight? Is it as simple as the film session being ugly, or what?
I don't know if it's as much as it is just like dudes don't want to go home. You know what I mean? Like we had to come out and play desperate. I think when you're in the playoffs, they always talk about the more desperate team is typically the team that wins, and us being down 3-2, the pressure was on us. You know what I mean? They know we got to go back to the Garden and win.
What's different about Game 7s, and how do you have to get your team ready for it differently than other games in a series?
Well, it's the ultimate game, and it's a great opportunity. Other than Pascal, I don't know if any of our guys have been in a Game 7. Maybe James Johnson has. This team's been through a lot of new experiences over the last 3.5 weeks, and this will be another new one. And so we'll do everything possible to get them ready.
This is sort of the nature, of the playoffs. This is what you play for. You love competition. This is it. Hard fought, competitive. Oftentimes it comes down to a hustle play, a loose ball, whatever it might be.
I expect probably the most unbelievable environment I've ever played in an NBA game. The Garden is a crazy place with they got a rabid fan base, and so I'm excited about it. I'm excited about being on the road and doing something that we haven't done this series, trying to win a game on the road.
It's electric, damn it. You had to walk to the Garden, okay? You can't drive. It's standstill traffic. Everybody's coming to the Garden. Everybody wants to be near the Garden because we understand what this means. A Game 7, the first time you're in this position in the last 29 years, for crying out loud. This is what it's all about right here. Brunson's going to play. I know Josh Hart's going to play. OG Anunoby's going to give it a try. And the New York Knicks know what is at stake right now. The Garden is hype. You look around, people are still packing inside. But the bottom line is, we here. We about right here. This is what we've been waiting for right here. It's Game 7. This is what it's about. Get the hat on. Put it back on it. The New York Knicks. It's about grinding. It's about guts. It's about heart. That's what Game 7. And Clark just walked by. This is what it's about. This is what we waited for right here. One game, 48 minutes. Orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies.
I don't even know what to say, bro.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long
time. Guys, you win a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, you've made history. It's one of the hardest things to do, and you guys did it with complete 100% class. So congratulations. I'm going to turn this over to Lloyd. He's much more eloquent than I am.
I tell you what, from start to finish this year, we talked about the superpower of our team, and the superpower of our team has been the togetherness. Yep. You guys encourage each other, you celebrate each other, you support each other, and when things get tough, you guys stay together.
The Indiana Pacers are in the East Finals, and they'll match up against the Boston Celtics to see who's going to clinch the top seed. But before we get to that, we'll have to talk about this series, the Knicks versus Pacers. I mean, this was just another roller coaster. It's similar to what we saw in the Denver Nuggets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Knicks did not let up. Jalen Brunson is a beast. He's a bona fide star. A lot of people initially when I saw from NBA mainstream media, Ramona Shelburne, can see you, you did not look at Jalen Brunson as a guy that can carry the franchise. And looking at what the Knicks did, it was exceptionally good and sensational. Tom Thibodeau, I know a lot of people give flack to this guy, and rightfully so, because he single-handedly played his team until the wheels fell off.
Jalen, you guys played for that number 2 seed all to the end. Now you get this home game at the Garden for Game 7. Just kind of thoughts on fighting for that and what the reward is here.
Yeah, it's definitely something we fought for, and to have home court advantage for as long as we can throughout the playoffs. And I'm just happy that our team has the mindset that we do. And so, but it's not given just because it's at home. We get to go out there and play and earn it. They're going to be ready, and we're going to be ready as well.
Jalen, the Knicks fans, when you were already in the locker room chanting your name at the end of the game, your connection with them, the relationship you have with the fan base seems very special. Can you get into what they have meant to you throughout the season?
They have been nothing but amazing to myself, to this team, to my family, and it's really cool. And so just so thankful for them and everything. And the nights that we needed energy, they provided for us. And the games on the road when we needed energy, they provided for us. And so they're amazing. And I can't really put into words of what they mean to me, but they deserve much more than what we were able to do this playoff run. They deserve much more than that.
Facing that, but when did you start to feel like there was much more potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us as a group, obviously Pete wasn't here to start the year, but we knew our expectation was to get to the playoffs. We said that to our local media members all year. I mean, I know a lot of you guys didn't hear anything from us because it's not like we're covered early in the year, but I think that we just had that. Like we had preseason camp in Nashville, just players, no coaches, and that was what we communicated from the jump, that we expected to be here. This ain't a surprise for us. It's no fluke. We expect this from our group, and then once we added P, we knew that we could really take off. So it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks, except for the people in our travel party, 70, 80 people who come. Because I don't think anybody here picked the Pacers to win the series, but
didn't.
It happened.
I have picture proof.
Yeah.
Because you could see Mitchell Robinson, he was out. I mean, Josh Hart was playing Iron Man minutes. Jalen Brunson, he got ruled out at the remainder of Game 7. We had a couple of players who were not all there. OG Anunoby just playing through injuries. But looking at the way the Knicks started, they started off very good from tip-off in Game 1. 121-117, a very clutch game. They beat the Pacers, and the Knicks were able to defend home court at the Madison Square Garden. Then in Game 2, the Knicks did the same thing. 130-121 was the final score. So at that point, when I was looking at this series, I just felt like, the Knicks just have this series under control. They're up 2-0. They only need to win 2 more games to be able to close it out. But the Pacers went ahead and won both Game 3 and Game 4 back-to-back. Game 3, it was a clutch game, only decided by 5 points. But Game 4, the way the Knicks lost in the Pacers' home floor, it was very embarrassing. And the Knicks were limited to 89 points. 89, the lowest point tally at the time. And in Game 5, the Knicks were able to defend home floor, their home court, and they won that game in a blowout, 121-91. And at that point, I just felt like the Knicks had what it took to be able to just close it out in Game 6 because they had the upper hand. They had Jalen Brunson. They had a solid roster. But the injury bug just came to roost as Rick Carlisle, the Indiana Pacers coach, he just knew how to use his players and at what time. Because Tom Thibodeau, he was running his players onto the ground. And
Tom, I know the mantra of the team for all year has been next man up, but does there come a point where just the mental strain of having to continually do your job, do somebody else's job, whoever's that job?
This is sort of the nature, of the playoffs. This is what you play for. You love competition. This is it. Hard fought, competitive. Oftentimes it comes down to a hustle play, a loose ball, whatever it might be. And so you're going to get tested physically, mentally, emotionally, and you got to be able to get through all of that. And so whatever it is that we're facing, we can overcome. Just keep battling.
We got the best bench in the NBA. So we're the deepest team in the NBA. We got 5-6 guys ready on the bench at all times, ready to answer the call when need be. I think that's what separates from everybody. We just big shout out to our bench. That they really get our energy going.
The thing that you, as a coach, you always measure, okay, what does the group have, and are we getting everything out of the group? And the only thing you could ask for is everyone puts forth their best effort. And we got that all year from these guys. So, and I think what goes along with that is peace of mind and knowing that you did your best. And so that's all you could ask for. And a lot of teams, I think, would have folded. They didn't. Like, we took the hit with Mitch, and then, then you add in Julius and OG, your starting front line, and then Bogey goes out. So that and it was hit after hit, but these guys never folded. They kept fighting. And so that's all you could ask for.
And even at the remaining 2 games, no player was at 100. Jalen Brunson was guarded heavily. The Pacers just knew what they needed to do in there. And Josh Hart was playing Iron Man minutes. OG Anunoby was not all there all through. Mitchell Robinson, he's not there at all. And the Pacers just went ahead and won both Game 6 and Game 7. And Game 7, it was a blowout win, and they won by 21 points. So when the Indiana Pacers just went through and just did that, because there was only 1 win that was needed by the Knicks and only 2 by the...
You know when Jalen broke his hand?
I don't know exactly.
How tough is it for his season to end like that?
Yeah, just, it's unfortunate. You hate to see all the injuries, and, Josh and OG just to try to give us whatever they had, it says a lot about them. And then, it was hit after hit. That's part of it. And the guys responded all year long. So, I'm disappointed in the sense that we're not going to play anymore, but I thought they were a great group to be around, and they gave everything they had.
Jalen, is it frustrating that you didn't have all of your healthy parts to be able to battle to get to where you wanted to go?
It's part of the game, and like I said, there's this group. We didn't make excuses for anything, and so if things happen, we move forward with what we had, and obviously we want everyone healthy. I think that's the most important thing, but I think as a group, we had that mindset, like, next man up, and we really took it to heart.
The Pacers, but it was not meant to be, and I must say the Knicks will never get their revenge from 2013 when the Pacers beat the Knicks, when Carmelo Anthony was there and Paul George was the Pacers, and the Knicks were not able to make it past the second round again. And looking at even the series, I was pretty much monitoring Stephen A. Smith because he loves the Knicks. And even in Game 6, I believe it was Game 6 or Game 7, he just came out, he was there with Spike Lee, he was just hyping up the Knicks, only just to see the Knicks just crumble at the final minutes of the fourth quarter. So, I mean, I can say it was a lopsided Game 7 as compared to what we saw with the Wolves and Nuggets. But looking at the way this Game 7 panned out, I can just say injuries was the main reason as to why the roster did not look the same. And they were just injury riddled. And Tom Thibodeau has had a long streak of overworking his players and not being able to do good minute management. And that's the reason.
Rick, a lot of times when a team scores the way you do in the regular season, there's sort of a, let's see it in the playoffs. The game's going to be different.
Well, we're the uninvited guest, so here we are, okay?
Tom, I know the mantra of the team for all year has been next man up, but does there come a point where just the mental strain of having to continually do your job, do somebody else's job, whoever's that job?
This is sort of the nature, of the playoffs. this is what you play for. You love competition. This is it. You know, hard fought, competitive. Oftentimes it comes down to a hustle play, a loose ball, whatever it might be. And so you're going to get tested physically, mentally, emotionally, and you got to be able to get through all of that. And so whatever it is that we're facing, we can overcome. Just keep battling.
Why they failed and they crumbled. I know Dante DiVincenzo was sensational. We needed him to be able to play well, but he was able to score 39 points, but he had a negative plus minus of minus 20. So I don't know, man. Scoring wise, he was good, but Jalen Brunson, he just didn't look the same. He just looked injured, and at some point he was even ruled out in the fourth quarter and in the remainder of the game. So he wasn't able to. But Dante DiVincenzo, I can say he did everything. But looking at the way the team needed other guys to get involved, you can see Alec Burks, he came in from the bench. And Tom Thibodeau, at this point, he didn't even have a DNP in there. But the Knicks just have a lot to think about in the offseason, especially when it comes to just the coaching staff. Because this poor minutes management and overworking players, that's the reason as to why they're not able to do anything significant. Look at Isaiah Hartenstein. The man played 30 minutes, 0 points. That man was just doing cardio there. At least he had 8 rebounds and 2 assists, but he couldn't even score. And he was the very inefficient piece with the ball. I know I mentioned Dante DiVincenzo, and he was actually a guy that was trying to hold his team over the water, and he played well. He played well throughout the series, but all in all, it was just a very disappointing performance.
You obviously mentioned the rebounding differential. You guys, it was 47-35, 62-38 in the paint. I mean, did it seem like basically everything that you sort of didn't get in Game 5 and you kind of demanded afterwards is sort of what you got from these guys? You feel like they responded in every way that you were looking for?
Well, they're both aggression stats. And so, you know, we needed to do better in the aggression department. You know, Game 5 in New York was, you know, Game 5 in Milwaukee was tough, but Game 5 in New York was, I would have to say, our lowest aggression game of the entire playoffs. And so, you know, we didn't have a very fun film session yesterday watching it. But, you know, you go through these ups and downs, and it's, you know, young teams are going to grow. So we'll find out how much on Sunday.
There's a lot of exciting things going on in Indiana right now. So I think we're just excited to be a part of it. And I think us three are all part of the long-term future here in Indy. And I think we're all excited about that. So, you know, excited to continue to build excitement around our city and just understand we're not done yet.
What is so different about Game 7s compared to any other game you've played in before?
I mean, it's like gritty, you know, like it's good. Both teams are going to play hard. Like it's going to be hard. Like, you know, some things, you know, you might not make a shot, you whatever. Like, it's a lot of things that's going to happen. And I think as long as you just kind of stay focused within the game plan and just play with energy, I think the hardest playing team usually, like, win those games. So that should be our focus.
You know, for me personally, you know, I can sit here and say a lot of things. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. I'm just proud of this group, man, for real. Like, it's one of the most special groups I've been around. It is the most special group I've been around just since I've been here. We all play for each other, and there's no ego. And when you got guys that can score 15-plus points, 15, 20-plus points every single night, 7, 8 guys, there can be a lot of ego involved with that. And we were able to nip that in the bud a lot earlier this season, you know. And obviously having Pascal come here, you know, midway through the season and adding his leadership and just, you know, everything he's able to provide for our team offense and defensively has been huge. So I'm proud. I'm glad I was able to share with my family. You know, my dad's from New York. You know, he grew up on this series and this rivalry. So to have them embrace him after the game was everything. And, you know, we're not done yet.
You know, the competitive level in this series was through the roof. We played a great game tonight. But whatever we threw at them, they kept coming. They kept coming. The crowd was unbelievable. And, you know, I just told our team, when you win a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, you've made history. It's very, very difficult to do. This is the most raucous crowd in the NBA that I've seen. And we're going to Boston, and, you know, Boston's up there too. But boy, today this was really, really, really loud. So,
And man, for Game 7 with the Eastern Conference semis, the series played out all 7 games, but the last game was just a heartbreaker. Tyrese Halliburton, he scored 26 points, and the Pacers set an NBA playoff record by shooting 67.1% from the field, beating the New York Knicks in a blowout and advanced the East Finals for the first time in 10 years. Actually, it is the first time in 10 years they won a playoff series, and the first time in 10 years they're making it to the East Finals. They're making it past the East semis. So Miles Turner, he also came out and said, we have a historic offense, obviously, but this guy got things rolling, and everybody kind of just following suit. So Miles Turner, he just came out and said that in solidarity with playing alongside Tyrese Halliburton. So he also added to do that on the road here at the Garden in Game 7. Obviously, it's phenomenal, but I think this is what we've been doing all season long, and we'll be able to show it in the biggest stage. So a lot of people wrote off the Pacers, and I feel like there was even this post I saw from in social media and Twitter where people picked the Knicks to win in 6 games, and the Pacers just kind of trolled them, and everyone, even the sports heads and the media personalities on ESPN, they picked the Knicks to finish off the Pacers, but the Pacers just came and crashed the party. The Pacers averaged 123.3 points during the regular season, 6th highest in the league history, and set an NBA record by scoring 140 11 times. So they haven't slowed down much in the playoffs, because looking at the way the Pacers played, the Pacers made 29 of their 38 shots in the first half, a shooting percentage of 73.6%, and was the highest in the postseason since 1997. When the NBA began keeping detailed play-by-play for the fourth quarters, they led 70-55 at that point and pulled away every time the Knicks tried to make a run in the second half. So Rick Carlisle is one of the coaches that I feel like he's very underrated, and a lot of people do not give him a lot of credit, especially with what he has done this season. And he also came out and said, I told our team, when you win a Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, you've made history. And that's what the Pacers went ahead and did. So the 6th-seeded Pacers were able to knock off the 2nd-seeded New York Knicks. And we'll face up with the Boston Celtics at the series that begins Tuesday, but for me it will be my Wednesday morning. So Indiana last reached the conference finals in 2014, losing to the LeBron James Miami Heat. At that time, the Indiana Pacers had Roy Hibbert, and Paul George was leading the charge because he was given the keys to the Pacers offense. So Jalen Brunson's left in the second half with a broken left hand, one final injury for Knicks team that was decimated in that game. So they got OG Anunoby back on Sunday after he missed the previous 4 games with a strained left hamstring, but he clearly wasn't moving well and was taken out of the game after the first 5 minutes. So you could see the Knicks couldn't be able to get over the injury bug, and that thing really set the organization back and set the team back. And still, they were not able to get the players to be healthy. And Josh Hart, as I mentioned, he was playing Ironman minutes since the year started. Pascal Siakam and Andrew Nemhard each scored 20 points. Aaron Naismith was 8 of 8 en route for his 19th point for the Pacers. Dante DiVincenzo made 9 3-pointers and scored 39 points for the Knicks, who were trying to reach the conference finals for the first time in 2000, but they couldn't overcome the losses, especially losing Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, Bojan Bogdanovic, man. Then losing OG Anunoby and Branson, that was it was just a kick to the teeth, man. Tom Thibodeau, I mean, he came out and said, knowing that this team gave it its best effort all year long, I can live with the result. So he also added, it's disappointing, but in the end, there's only one team that is going to be going home happy. 29 others will follow short. This team fought like crazy, and there's no regret. So even despite all the injuries, Tom Thibodeau, he just looked at the silver lining. But looking at his habits of overplaying players and not being able to manage minutes, it's something that I feel like the Knicks are going to look forward in like changing. And I don't know, maybe a sack might be loading. But anyway, I've been seeing coaches getting sacked and hired at equal measure. So, yeah, Brunson finished with 17 points and 9 assists, shooting 6 of 17 after scoring 40 or more points 5 times this postseason. Alec Burks came off the bench with his huge 26 points. At some point, some offense was coming from him, and it was awesome. So the third Game 7 between the franchises, the Knicks won in 1994 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Pacers pulled out a 97-95 victory the next year in the East semis. So this was a chance for the Pacers to prove that their fast-paced style can win, and their defense is still as elite. And also Reggie Miller was also trending alongside the Pacers because a fan did that choking sign showing like what the Indiana Pacers were doing to the Knicks. At that time Spike Lee was young, so anyway, it is what it is. So this series is one for the ages. And you can even see Reggie Miller was just trending there, and I was really laughing when I saw that graphic just pull up. So the Pacers made 10 of their first 11 shots. It would have been 11 of 12, but Turner's dunk attempt bounced out of the basket and didn't slow down much like the rest of the half. So Knicks fans were screaming and chanting before the game ended. And man, they're just frustrated because looking at how the season started and the way they is ending right now, at the time, it just looked hard because when I watched that game live, I just saw the Knicks just trailing and they're not able to get back. And because of like the injury-riddled team, they're not able to go back at it. So Josh Hart played through an abdominal strain for the Knicks, falling out with 10 points and 8 boards. So the man was just Iron Man out there. And it was just sad. So Tyrese Halliburton, he was trolling. He came out with the hoodie that had Reggie Miller's choke sign. That was actually quite awesome. So he also came out and said, I think it's just the old school of thinking that you can't play this fast in the playoffs, but I think opportunistically you can do it. I think if we're able to get stops, of course we can. So Tyrese Halliburton, he was wearing that shirt with Reggie Miller making a choking sign at MSG. It was just trolling. So the Pacers led 39-27 after shooting 16 from 21 from the field. That's 76.2%. And 7 of 9 from three-point range, 77.8 in the first quarter. So Indiana then went 13 of 17. That's 76.5 in the second quarter, with the lead growing to 22 points. The Knicks cut off to 70-55 at halftime, then scored the first 7 out of the break and as part of a 12-3 start to the second half, and trimmed it to 73-67. At some point, I felt like the Knicks were trying to get there and trying to cut the deficit, but still. But with the Pacers leading by 7, the Knicks committed 3 straight turnovers that helped the Indiana Pacers push the lead 84-70. And that's just about it. The injury bug just came and just crept into the Knicks, and they're not able to be the same ever since. So that's just your series. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments. I mean, this postseason has just been weird, lack of a better word, just weird and insane. And I loved it, every single minute of it. So I'm just waiting to see how the Boston Celtics and the Pacers are going to match up in East. And out West, you've got the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Dallas Mavericks, which looks like another banger. So if you guys like the video, like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.